Located in an underground bunker somewhere in Madison, Indiana, is a different kind of podcast. Welcome to Loudmouth with your host, Dean Stidham.
Ugly, you are disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
Now, you know, that is no way to start out a show. See, this is what happens when you put together a small studio audience and you get somebody in here a little bit ugly. One more comment like that, Dr. Phil, and you will be out of here. I do want to thank Stewie Griffin of Family Guy. He'll be watching security for us today, making sure everyone keeps their social distancing. Anyway, should have a pretty good show on tap for you. First things first, 2 shows in 1 week. That's a new record for me. And if you'll notice, tire's a little different. It is the weekend. Hey, sports. Wow, is it finally coming back? Oh, I know we've had the NASCAR, which that was interesting. What, 30,000 or so? I thought that's what they said at Nashville last week, or Bristol, I should say, not Nashville. That's where I wanted to be a week ago. But anyway, I was hoping to have Steve Rowlett, gentleman I had on a couple weeks ago, concerning the Southwestern Rebels, and have an update for you on that. Now, with things being the way they are, I know he was hard-pressed, and I believe he had a meeting today while we're doing the taping of today's show for tomorrow's broadcast. With that being said, if he does call in, I'm going to go ahead and take his call, and we'll probably step out for commercial break while I talk to him. And anyway, hey, let's get things going. What we're going to talk about today, I did mention President Obama. There were some major mistakes he made while he was in office. Wasn't talked about a lot, maybe on a couple of networks, but how many of them did you remember? Because with that being said, there wasn't a lot of them, but there was 10 that were sort of noticeable. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about, of course, the great book concerning the Triumph of Joseph by Robert Woodson Sr. This book is amazing. You really need to read this. This gentleman, we talked about him some on the last show, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. We've got a lot of things straight ahead. I'm going to just let you know a little bit about how I feel about what is going on. I'm about over this virus thing. Real quick, also want to put a quick yell out to Shane and Shelly Williams. Wow, what a smorgasbord of food that Shelly brought over, and just fantastic people. Of course, Shane was my boss for many, many years, and actually got a plaque here. I don't know how many of you can see that. Talks about the 30 years that I worked, and that was really nice of them. And they're not. Let's don't lie to each other. Those folks are glad I'm gone, though. Anyway, we've got, I think, a pretty good show on tap for you, and we're going to talk about that and a lot more. And we'll do that all right after this. Hey, everyone. It's Dean with Loudmouth. Got some great news for you. Speedy Cab. They're back on the road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And with this heat, wow, who needs to be walking? Easy number to remember. It's 812-274-0911. These guys are fully insured, fully air conditioned, and they're now running 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. What's that? Been partying a little bit too much? Oh yeah, I've done that in the past. And you never, ever want a chance hearing this sound. That's why Speedy Cab. They're running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 812-274-0911. That number once again, 812-274-0911. It's Speedy Cab. We're there when you need us. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'd like to thank Speedy Cab for sponsoring this week's show. Real quick, if I could, I want to make an apology. This is a one-man operation, by the way. I do the best I can do, and for an old guy, that's not real good sometimes. I apologize for those looking for last week's show on the audio side, because we do actually a podcast which started out in audio, and everybody kept saying, you need to do YouTube, you need to YouTube, excuse me, do YouTube. And actually Facebook as well. Well, I don't seem to have a lot of luck with Facebook, so we do have it here on YouTube, but I am doing the recording as well. So it'll be on audio, and that can be found, of course, on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, all kinds of places. So you might keep an eye out for that. And, of course, we'll advertise it and put it out there and let you know about that. Okay, we were talking about President Obama. I had a few clips, but I'm not going to bog you down with all that. And I'm not here to bust on our former president. It's just a media thing, and it really gets old. Just like the virus, we talk about that every show, and I truly don't know. I am confused. I know the virus is real. Nobody, I don't think, would begin to say that the virus isn't real. But with that being said, and the first thing I seen this morning was a young lady was asking if kids were going to have to wear a mask when they go back to school. And of course, from what I've been led to believe, it was like, yeah, of course they will. And to me, it's the whole thing's ridiculous. But first of all, I like to see how that works out. A bunch of 7 and 8 and 9 and 10-year-old kids, how they're going to keep masks on all day. I don't think they need to have them on. I think it's been a little bit overblown. And I say that with all due respect. And I know a lot of people out there disagree with me, but if I get it, I'm done. So, it's up to me to take the precautions. And I appreciate it when everybody else does as well. But to ask our young people to do it, I don't know. A little much, maybe. That's just my opinion. But anyway, get back to our president. Some of the things he did, and I asked if you were able to recall them. How many of you remember the umbrella situation where he, of course, was standing outside in the Rose Garden? As I'm watching my board do some glitching here, so I hope everything's running okay. But you remember the Marine holding the umbrella over his head? A lot of people thought that was a big no-no. I also remember he wouldn't wear the president pin lapel, or the little flag. He would never wear one of those. And I don't know if anybody ever found out the answer why to that. But as far as I know, he never wore one. Now, if he did, I know there's tons of you out there right now probably sending me something on Facebook saying, well, you're absolutely wrong. And that's okay. I just remember that sticking out. The thing that stuck out the most to me was the dinner him and Michelle went on. And it actually cost the taxpayers, with everything being said and flown this and that. Of course, and he was a millionaire, but it cost the taxpayers $350,000. Now, I didn't get all tore up over it. It was mentioned some in the media, of course, some media outlets more than others. But the thing that always gets me is how, Trump is just continually pounded and pounded and pounded. And, all presidents do these silly, crazy things. Bowing to the king of Saudi Arabia. Remember that one? Also, the hot mic. I think it was Putin's right-hand man tapping him on the knee saying, hey, when I win the election, I'll have more power. You didn't see that a lot. And if it had been the other way around, I think we'd seen it a ton. Saluting with a coffee cup. Remember that coming on Air Force One, and he had the coffee cup, and he went like this to the Marine. Now, that sounds like some bonehead move I would make, but, being the president and a graduate of Harvard, you would have thought he would have caught that. And the selfie stick pictures. Remember that inside the Oval Office and shooting some hoops? I don't think it's worth making that great a big a deal out of and this and that. But there again, it just goes to show we just go back and forth, back and forth. And we need to all remember what unites us is a hell of a lot bigger than what divides us. So it really would be nice to put it to rest, but it is the political time of year, and I have a feeling it's just going to get a lot worse. With that being said, we talk about the Democrats. I do, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them do want to get rid of ICE. They want to defund our military as well as our police. And I don't think that's working out real well. As you've seen in Brooklyn the other day, there was the gentleman who struck an officer, caused possibly permanent eye damage, 2 fractures to the orbital situation in the eyes. The gentleman was let out with no bail. I mean, what kind of message? I can't imagine that I could go out here in this town, which I would never do, and strike an officer and not have bail posted or have to post a bail. But who knows? And concerning the corona thing and homeschooling and all that's going on, you remember 3 or 4 years ago when people would talk about homeschooling, wanting to homeschool their kids, and how it was in the media and the news that just try to homeschool your kids and could possibly be arrested. There could be legal action brought against you. It would be some type of abuse to a child, denying them public education. And now that seems to be the thing to do due to this virus that it seems to not be that, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be that many children suffering from it. Of course, there was the motorcycle accident that they were talking about on the news in Florida where and I don't know who the gentleman was, but it was a death, a fatality, and it was reported as a COVID virus type situation. And the facts are there. I mean, it's just nuts. I know we won't even get into that, but I know reimbursements due to anything can be linked to a death for COVID. And I think some of our hospitals, I would like to believe that all hospitals are on the up and up. And I'm sure they are, because if they were called to not be, they would pay a heavy price. But anyway, I would just love to find the truth. And I'm sure you feel the same, because we really are getting divided on that. A lot more coming up. Let's see here. Oh, yes. I also wanted to mention Bill Sittons. This gentleman is from Scott County, Indiana. I don't know Bill real well. I know my cousin Dave knew Bill pretty good. I think they were pretty tight back in school. Dave was the police officer, retired police officer, was on a few weeks back. But anyway, Bill has suffered from a stage 4 cancer, and that shows you how well I know Bill. We've communicated some. I can't even tell you for sure what type it was. But at this point in time, he's beat it. He wrote a song. He did it really quick. He sent it over to us. He is a musician from Scott County, Indiana. So without any further ado, let's give Bill a shout out. And this is Bill's song. This is pretty catchy. Take a listen to it.
Well, I went to the doctor that day. They had something to say. Well, he told me that I had lung cancer, and this is what I'd have to go through. Well, I listened to him, but my wife was by my side. He told me that I'd have to have some chemo. He told me that I'd have to have some radiation too. Well, I guess you would call this the chemo radiation blues. Well, I had my first chemo. They gave it to me so damn strong. When they put me into the hospital, I stayed about a week so long. When they lost all my hair that first day, it was radiation song. I had a wife, a couple of kids. They stood behind me all the way. I went into pretty bad time, but they stood here and loved me anyway. I got to ring that bell on Christmas Eve. I said it's the radiation, chemo blues. It's bullshit if you gotta go through, but it's chemo radiation. If you got that cancer in your soul, well, I feel much better since I rang that bell. I pray to God when you him, I never wanna have that trouble again. It was too much trouble for my family and friends. It was hell, but I feel much better now. I gotta have CT done in 3 months for the rest of my life, because it was the radiation chemo blues. It was the radiation chemo blues. It was the radiation chemo blues. I thank God that I'm over it. Thank Him too.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bill Sittons, Scott County cancer survivor. That always sounded great, Bill. And of course, we do have social distancing, guys. Stewie, take a little charge here.
Hey, what the hell? Whoa. Is there a problem? Huh? You want to go? Go? What are you talking about? I'm talking about go. That's what I'm talking about. First one's on the house. I got things to do. Oh, where you think you're going? I'm going downstairs. Oh, there's a toll in the hole now. $10. Look,
that's enough, Stewie. Stewie.
Look.
Stewie.
Come on.
You guys always
You.
Damn it.
This is
just social distance.
I'm just messing with you, man. You can do whatever you want. I was just kidding you.
Boy, I had us a little scared there. Anyway, I do want to thank Bill for doing a great job there. We've got more Loudmouth coming up right after this. Make sure and stay tuned. Hey, everyone. It's Dean with Loudmouth. Got some great news for you. Speedy Cab. They're back on the road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And with this heat, wow, who needs to be walking? Easy number to remember. It's 812-274-0911. These guys are fully insured, fully air conditioned, and they're now running 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. What's that? Been partying a little bit too much? Oh, yeah, I've done that in the past. And you never, ever want a chance hearing this sound. That's why Speedy Cab. They're running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 812-274-0911. That number once again, 812-274-0911. It's Speedy Cab. We're there when you need us. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And as a lot of you see me there, I did send a text out to my friend there, Steve Rowlett, who's been following the situation with the Southwestern Rebels and the name change and all the controversy going on about that. Of course, most people know my thoughts on it. I think it's just totally ridiculous. Just like I think the Washington Redskins is total ridiculous as well. That's my feeling. That's my opinion. I know other people have theirs. I think there's a lot bigger battles to be fought. That silly crap, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, I was hoping to have an update because I know they did have a meeting the other night. Evidently, he's been ran over on his meeting, so we'll catch up with Steve a little later on, and we'll get you that update that we promised you, and we'll do that probably next week's show. In the meantime, anybody else that ever wants to be a part of the show, excuse me, you're more than welcome as well. I spent 2 years building this thing, and with my condition being what it is, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to do this anyway. As you can listen, you're probably hearing this oxygen flow. Anyone interested in maybe a possible podcast, you can change the name for a little bit or nothing. You can have your own studio, everything. It's not as expensive as you think, and what a great platform to let your opinion be out. Anyway, with that being said and done, I did want to talk about real quick here, President Trump, he had some thoughts on the masking situation earlier today. A lot of stuff going on with that as well. There again, with my condition, it's appreciative when I do get out that people are wearing masks, but I do not expect anyone to do that. I wear a mask. That's my part. But anyway, here was his thoughts on the latest and where he stands.
No, I want people to have a certain freedom. And I don't believe in that, no. And I don't agree with the statement that if everybody wear a mask, everything disappears.
After only one public donning of a mask, he sends another mixed signal.
I'm a believer in masks. I think masks are good.
But just as quickly, he attacks his own top doctors over early advice before mask benefits were widely embraced.
Hey, Dr. Fauci said, don't wear a mask. Our Surgeon General, terrific guy, said, don't wear a mask. Everybody was saying, don't wear a mask. All of a sudden, everybody's got to wear a mask. And as you know, masks cause problems, too.
Campaigning in rural Wisconsin Friday, Mike Pence masked up at a dairy farm and promised a breakthrough.
Before the end of this year, we're going to have a vaccine, and we're going to put this coronavirus in the past.
But President Trump is getting low marks for his handling of the pandemic. Just 38% approval in a new poll by ABC. 60% disapprove. One top White House official argues the president should again lead briefings on coronavirus.
His approval rating on the pandemic was higher when he was at the podium. It was 51% in March. And I think people want to hear from the president of the United States.
After criticism aimed at him by the White House, Dr. Fauci says he and Mr. Trump spoke for the first time in weeks and claims he has the president's full backing.
I do. I believe I do. I spoke to the president about that. I believe I do.
And Dr. Fauci says he does not believe that top officials like the president or the chief of staff have been actively undermining his credibility, while others in the White House had been pointing out some of the things that they think have not been helpful in his past public comments. And it's unclear, Kristen and Peter, if the president will take advice from Kellyanne Conway to take a more public role leading the coronavirus response. There are others in the administration who think he should focus on the campaign, the economy, and other issues. Kristen, Peter?
NBC's Kelly O'Donnell at the White House. Kelly, thank you.
And the problem with all of that is it all goes hand in hand. With that being said, there again, I would just like to know the truth. And I just think we need to quit the I got yous. Dr. Fauci's been wrong. The president's been wrong. I'm sure I've been wrong. And, and for the gentleman running on the other side for Vice President or past Vice President Joe Biden to keep telling everyone, well, I would have done a better job. Come on. That's pretty lame. I mean, I can sit here and say I would have done a better job too. We don't know that. I think everyone concerned is doing the best they can possibly do. And it's not a job I'd want, but hopefully we'll get a hold of this thing. We'll find out what's really going on. I hear so many things as you do. I will say this, though, with the ratings of the president, when you have a couple of networks that are continually pounding about this COVID-19 and talking virtually about nothing else, and you have another network which is pretty strong and their ratings are tenfold what the other two networks or three or four networks are, it's just really divided the nation. And there again, we got to come back together and quit being so ugly and mean to each other. But with that being said, there's a gentleman I think that I've got to know a little bit, James O'Keefe. He's with Project Veritas. This gentleman, I think, speaks truth to lie. And he was the first one to expose CNN. And so there is some attacks, and it goes both ways. But I've got a couple cuts I want you to hear, and then I want to have a closing message, and we'll probably just close out this week's show. But I thought this is interesting just to let you know where the other side's at a little bit.
Exposing CNN's bias was important to me because I believe everyone should know where their news is coming from, left, right, or center. Of course, I was afraid to expose CNN. It's the biggest media conglomerate in the world. If you come forward, Veritas will have your back. If I want to inspire others the way that I was inspired by the previous whistleblowers, your Facebook insiders, Zach, Eric, all those men and women, patriots that came before me, my only goal here is to inspire others to come out, get in the sunlight, and I promise you, it'll feel so much better on this side.
Hello? Hey, is this the CEO of Tech Solutions? Who's calling? This is James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, trying to get a comment on your company firing a woman named Leslie Brown today. Trying to get a comment on a journalist looking for a comment for a story. Which Leslie Brown? Leslie Brown is an employee for your company and has done work with Facebook, and she was on a tape today saying some comments that you confirmed with her that she has in fact been terminated from your company, and like a comment from you about why she was terminated. We are a staffing agency. They work for a client, so I want you to know it is a client that makes the call. It's not us. They are hired as contractors. Understood. And you guys work with Facebook, correct? Yes, Facebook is one of our clients.
Last year, one of our undercover journalists spoke with Leslie Brown, a former HR contractor for Google, who now works as an HR executive for Facebook in San Francisco. She laughed about the anti-white male bias that exists inside big tech.
All stories. But I mean, they were able to fire him without having to worry about discrimination.
Due diligence, right. No, yes, because it's a white man.
Yeah,
white man, so no problem. He can't do it that easily if there are other issues.
Oh, it's easier when they're
white men.
Okay.
Yeah, no protected clause.
No one has the white man's back anymore.
You're saying because he's a white male, there's more
that if
leverage.
he chose to sue the company, that most attorneys would just laugh.
Well, and that's pretty sad. I do apologize a little bit for that audio on the phone call being a little bit sketchy, but I think you get the point. If anybody is out there and he's asking for help to expose, and I think he's talking about both sides. If you see something that's going on that's just totally bogus And of course, the CNN thing was, I can't think of the gentleman who ran it. He was over MSNBC for a while, and also General Electric. Anyway, he was telling his staff to just keep bashing the president-elect or possibly president-elect Donald Trump. And you all know the story behind it. But anyway, I think we need to expose it, whether it's left or right. We need to quit trying to tear this country down, the great country that it is. But that's my spiel. And I do want to talk a little bit more about Robert Woodson Sr. and his new book, as I touched on that on my last show. And I'm going to do that in closing out today. It's going to be a short show. And one of the reasons being is, there again, I want to thank Shane and Shelly Williams, probably mainly Shelly. I'm sure she did the majority of the cooking, even though I hear Shane is a pretty good cook as well. But I want to thank each and everybody who's been helping us out. We've been going through a really tough personal situation, and they've been helping out with meals. And I understand there's some really good eats up above me. And so I'll be climbing out of the underground bunker real soon. Anyway, let me get one more commercial break in from our sponsor this week. And I want to thank them as well, Speedy Cab. We'll hear from them, and I want to have some closing comments on the racism and Black Lives Matter and this book that everyone really needs to read. Hey, everyone. It's Dean with Loudmouth. Got some great news for you. Speedy Cab. They're back on the road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And with this heat, wow, who needs to be walking? Easy number to remember. It's 812-274-0911. These guys are fully insured, fully air conditioned, and they're now running 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. What's that? Been partying a little bit too much? Oh, yeah, I've done that in the past. And you never, ever want a chance hearing this sound. That's why Speedy Cab. They're running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 812-274-0911. That number once again, 812-274-0911. It's Speedy Cab. We're there when you need us. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And once again, a shout out to Speedy Cab for helping us out here. Real quick, I did want to let you know, with time permitting, I might go ahead and drop this show down tonight. Now, I've done things a little bit different than I've done in the past. I've usually promoted my show to let you know exactly when I was going to be recording it live in case somebody wanted to call in with comments or opinions. But for whatever it is and for whatever it's worth in small rural America, too many people don't seem to want to call in or too busy busting each other on Facebook. So with that being said, this was re-recorded Saturday at around, let's see, I'm 28 minutes into it. So I started around 7:58 this evening. And I'll probably have this up and running around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock tonight. So it was mentioned and it was promoted as a Sunday show. But anyway, there you go. And if you would like it different, I can let you know exactly when I'm going to do these if you think you'd like to be part of the show. But that's up to you. In the meantime, I do thank each and every one of you for listening, and the listenership is growing, and I really appreciate that. And as you can tell, I've got a few notes. I don't have the, whatever you want to call them, the term escapes me, the rolling stuff. Geez, I believe I can't remember that, but the monitors. Anyway, it's just me. It's a small-time operation. I'm a simple person. But anyway, there was something I sort of wanted to share with you here. I think what is going on in today's society. Now, a lot of this is Robert Woodson's words. And I think, there again, you need to check out the book. I'll talk about the title of the book here in just a minute. But what he says is going on in today's society is lethal. He's saying white people are suppressors and black people are victims. He said, you got to quit doing that. He said, if you're told from the day you were born, you will never have the same opportunities that your white friend will have, you will be targeted by law enforcement and a second-rate citizen. He said, hell, who wouldn't hate or despise their country? That's a really, really good point. You know, Bernie Sanders said, and I know there's a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters out there, he once said, quote, America is racist and is racist from top to bottom. Now, Mr. Woodson went on to say, how insulting. few years back, a group of KKK members were staging a protest in Washington, D.C., and CNN was there recording it. They asked a 70-year-old male, a black gentleman, if he was going or was afraid. He responded saying, "Heck, bust them down to my community. Bring them down here in Ward 8. Tough neighborhood. Maybe we can get rid of these drug dealers." So his concern wasn't so much racism, it was drug addiction. Gotta flip my page here. And he went on to say his community isn't about racism at all, or skin color. He said, white people aren't the ones in our community dealing drugs and killing my people, he put it. When was the last time the news reported a black cop or a black person, period, killing a white person? The bottom line is, no matter whether you're black or white, yellow, green, orange, blue, we must hear the truth. One more time, if you, it doesn't matter what color you are. We want to know the truth. We want to hear the truth. That's why I really suggest you read this book. It's called The Triumph of Joseph. It's 1776 Project, 1619 Project, and it's by Robert Woodson Sr. These guys are really making a difference in the neighborhoods. And these are people that are making a difference in black lives. Because the movement itself, I can't find where they've done anything for the communities of the underprivileged black people in this country. But all this painting of signs and destroying of stuff is, I don't see where that's going to really do any good. But with that said, hey, I want to thank each and every one of you again for allowing me to share my opinion with you. And if you feel different, which I know a lot of you do, you're more than welcome to come on anytime. Just let me know, and I would love to hear your side. In the meantime, have a great rest of the weekend and enjoy your work week, because you don't know what it's like until that's gone. My name is Dean, and you've been listening to Loudmouth. Good night, everyone.